What up, gamers? I'm Jason, and we are back with some special guests. It's Kickstarter Excess or Value. It's been a while. We got a few things we wanted to talk about. Some of those things ended a lot faster than we thought they were going to, but don't worry. We found some cool Kickstarter projects that we are all interested in. Now, before we announce what the project is, and if you don't know what it is, then you clearly didn't read the YouTube title of this video, so why are you? Please let me know down below in the comments because I'm really curious. And I will let our special guests introduce themselves.
Hey, everybody, it's Rob and
Anna Marie
from the Meeple Dungeon out here in Kelowna, BC. You can find us on Twitter and YouTube and our own podcast on all your major podcasting sites.
And hey, folks, Ryan here from Bridge City Board Gamers in Saskatoon. And make sure you follow me on Twitter. And I've got my handle. Other way. There it is. Got my handle in the video here. So follow me at Mista Rau 643 for all my gaming adventures.
That's fancy. I like that.
I got to show us up on the tech side.
Yeah.
So I've got a different background. I'm back on the road. I work in sales, so I'm not always at home. And, you might see some more different backdrops just during these videos. So just wanted to catch everyone up to date. Now, the Pledge Master Ryan's going to take it away. He's going to set up the screen and tell everyone what game we are discussing right now. And the theme for this one really definitely has me interested in backing it because it's got a lot of elements that I love, that there aren't too many of those types of games available currently.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Earth Under Siege Flashpoint, and it's a 1 to 4 player co-op sci-fi dungeon crawling where players are competing to complete covert missions against invading alien force. I don't think I've heard of this theme or this style of game before. I'm pretty sure we haven't talked about these things at all. This is going to be fresh hot takes.
XCOM.
Oh, boy. So what do we got going on here? So we are going to be these covert operatives, and some sort of alien force has, started to come invading Earth with their portals and their way of being able to teleport into different places. And then there's this sort of sub-faction of humans that are joining in with this alien invasion. And we are trying to go in there and, stop this, but very stealthy.
Yeah.
Which is a big piece of this game, is that I'm kind of getting a siphon filter, very kind of vibe on this game, because you're always trying to lurk in the shadows. You do not want to be seen, or else the game is going to get really, really difficult for you if you become uncovered or something, or if they spot you or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think it's every mission you start completely covert, so they don't know you're there. Mm-hmm. And then you're working your way through each mission, hopefully staying as silent as possible.
And if they hear you, then
they sound the alarm.
The track goes up.
And you don't know what is around the corner or who is in the building until you actually can get line of sight on them.
That's right.
Or until you be able to see them.
So you will know the enemy types based on the different blips that are on the board, but you will not know necessarily which enemy is which, or which one you're going to necessarily run into. You've got an idea because obviously you get some intel, but it's not clear, which I think is very cool. You also get to pick your different strategies as well. So you can be very covert. It could be, we're going to blow the crap out of this place. So there's three, I don't think there's just three, but there's multiple different mission strategies that you get to pick, which will affect your mission objectives, which I think is cool because it makes every single mission highly replayable.
Yeah. Same here. Players are using stealth, sabotage, and ambush style combats to fight back the enemies and defend Earth from this annihilation.
The one thing I also found really cool about it is that, you have the little blips representing where you're hearing the enemy at, say, around the corner down the hall. And then when you do get line of sight on them, you may, I think you flip a card and it might even add more enemies to that spot. So maybe 3 originally spawn, but you flip the card and you get an additional 2 or 3 there. So, you never know exactly what numbers you're up against or anything. So it's
and
kind
they
of cool.
don't, don't see you as soon as the line of sight happens,
Right.
which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to
That's
get into
usually a downfall.
Yeah, so there are decks of cards. We're looking at the core box right now, just on the screen here, where we got 50, scratch that, 62 minis now, because I guess there's been some unlocks already during the campaign. We're gonna see that. So yes, this is another, dungeon crawly like game that has a whole bunch of miniatures. I don't know who here likes these types of games. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. None of us did not spend money on Marvel Zombicide, did we? No,
none of us did that.
Oh,
that game.
That game had minis in it? Oh, okay.
Who needs a 2-foot Galactus?
Not me.
Not us.
Yeah. So yes, they have their core box here, and it looks like they've already got some unlocked stretch goals. And in the invasion pledge only, should I just go over to the side here and see what these pledge levels are?
Yeah, I think we've done a nice glimpse as to like what's in the core box. Like just kind of look at the unlocked stretch goals. So it's 50 minis, and we got 12 extra miniatures unlocked, and we get details as to what that is there. So the pledges are.
Yeah, so some enemies, and then some more tactic cards, and then some more enemies, and some more. And it looks like they're just unlocking a whole bunch of more enemies here. So other than your
just like a new scenario. Yeah. Okay.
So here's your base game pledge. Here is going to be $120 US, so about 155 Canadian dollar dues, and that's getting you the core box and unlock stretch goals, and shipping will be charged during the pledge manager. $120 for a box full of minis and dungeon crawling goodness.
Yeah, 150 Canadian sounds.
This one's starting to get on the
close.
This one's starting to get on the steeper end of these style of games. Now, again, we don't really know a whole bunch about worldwide production issues.
Yes, like I gotta say, with current production issues and things like that going on, I can't like completely hate on that price, but it does feel to me like, due to the fact that this is a relaunch of a campaign, that they're pricing it at that point because they probably expected not to necessarily get as good economies of scale as they were expecting. And I mean, when you look at that Incursion pledge, there's only 16 backers?
Yeah, there's only 16 people.
16. Wow.
Well, because it seems like the only thing that it's adding a new scenario. So you get one extra mini, and then another, like it's basically a character. You get a character with their tactics. That's the invasion
pledge.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So the incursion is the base
pledge.
Right.
Yeah.
So but when I'm comparing that, so let's talk about minis, value, the ability to get it. And I get it like right away. 150 seems to be about what Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle Earth is going for. And I think that's a good example because there's about the same amount of miniatures. If we look at going up to, say, Descent Legends of the Dark, which is available in retail, we're getting closer to that $200 mark.
Yeah, it was like that 175 kind of like idea.
Canadian, $200 mark. And I think Descent actually might have similar amount of minis, if not like a little bit more. I'm not sure, but very high quality. You can get both of those right off the shelf now and not have to pay shipping. I think this game is really priced at like the top end for a Kickstarter project.
Yeah, good point. Because when you look down here at the next pledge, which is $50 American more, 170, you're going to get the World Killer expansion as well in there. Now I'm going to kind of go down here. Oh yeah, here's the stretch goals that were announced. And oh yeah, there's that core box again.
Scroll, Ryan. Scroll.
Have I mentioned on the show how much I do not like the way Kickstarter is laid out?
You've mentioned it a couple times.
Oh my gosh.
Over everything, and we got to see the operatives, the token.
Oh, okay, here's the expansion. the World Killer expansion, which gets you a whole nother box of a few more minis. Actually, only just like a few more, like 3, 5, 8, 9, about like another 10 minis. Issues.
Yeah. 10 more
enemies, and we're going to get that one new operative.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. 10 enemy figures, more game tiles, more dashboards, a lot more cards and tokens. And it looks like a heck of a lot more cards to go along with those new operatives.
I love how they laid that out in the core box. It's like a column and a third. That's just all the separate types of tokens they have. Right. And then the 2/3 is all the types of cards. And then here are the like other components.
They're just trying to make it look like there's way more things in the box than there actually is. Just tell us there's a deck of cards and some tokens. You don't have to tell me every single, token type, like health token and destruction token. And
I'd be just as impressed with like 500 different types of tokens.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You don't have to label each one.
Hashtag marketing scheme.
Yeah. Look at all the line items that we have in this box.
So yeah, $50 for an expansion.
Yeesh, 50 American. So
50 American for the expansion. So that is, where are we going on here? So now that gets us to $219. So yeah, talking about like another $70 almost.
Yeah.
Canadian.
$70. Yeesh.
So let's keep scrolling down. Let's see a little bit in more detail what we got in the box.
So the game tiles for the expansion are a work in progress, but we got our 2 new boss dashboards.
Yeah,
the World Killer and the Seer. Now the World Killer does actually look pretty cool.
It does. It does.
Like this, like a spider drone type thing.
Yeah, it looks like Starscream with spider legs.
Yeah. Great comparison.
Yeah.
And then, there's the rule book. And there's all our cards and these tokens. The way they're going to look is a work in progress, but we have all our tokens.
So as this show is called Kickstarter Excess or Value, and we didn't mention in the intro, but we already had a little bit of discussion about value. What do you think of the value of this expansion at $50?
Now, is it just adding? I'm just got to go back up here. Is it just adding a couple more bosses? But I believe this is also adding on a whole bunch more to the campaign mode that's in the original box.
I believe the original. Yeah. And you do have that special operative that was unlocked in the stretch goals that you only get with the invasion pledge.
Yeah, because I believe the base game's campaign is about 12 scenarios. And then the expansion campaign is going to add on, I think, another 8.
Oh, really?
Another 8 scenarios into the campaign.
Well, that's I kind of like the sound of that. At $70 to add 2/3 more story and a new character and some new bad guys. I think that's all right.
It's all right, but here's where I'm going to just call sort of foul on it. I'm going to say this is exactly where it falls down. So if we're taking a look at I'm going to use Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth, like Spreading War was more expensive. It's definitely more expansive than when it comes to being an expansion. But there's one thing that gives you a lot of that this does not give you, and that is new hero characters. So
right.
Saying Canadian dollars, like Shadow of War was about $100. And this is about $70. I still got 5 new playable characters, plus the expansion of, like, let's say level 4 weapons across the board for everything that's been introduced to the game, plus that new core campaign. Also, that was more. It was 15 missions. So it's not exactly comparable, but if I'm going to look at the 70 to 100, for me, this is missing more characters.
They could use a couple more characters. Yeah, I could see that.
I think, when you were looking at it being, okay, well, in this one, you're getting 8, new scenarios or adding on to the campaign, but the original is 12. I think it might be more of, is the base game priced appropriately? Like, if you think that it's fair for to add that extra campaign for the $70 Canadian, maybe
so I guess,
it's just
so we're getting into like how replayable is this game going to be, which they do have a whole section on a little bit later on here. I'm just gonna. Do we want? Well, we'll save the add-ons.
Yeah, I mean, the add-ons. You know what? We're right there. Let's just look at them quickly. I don't think. So just scroll up to them, Ryan, because.
Here's the add-ons.
$12 dice, $15 token upgrade. If you think they're worth it, then get it. There's nothing wrong here. I think that's priced very reasonably based on the upgrades that we've seen.
Yeah. Upgrade your cardboard tokens into miniatures.
I think generally speaking, we've been seeing these prices almost double this for these type of add-ons in general. Like for extra dice sets have been in like the $30 range. So like $12, I think is $1 more than reasonable.
Yeah, no, nothing to say about these. These are bang on. They're competitively priced. Like if we're looking at everything else saying that they might be higher priced, they nailed the pricing on this to really get people to back them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if everything else in the game is miniatures, you're going to want those miniatures to represent your some of these tokens.
Yes.
At least that's the way that I would kind of lean.
Well, they do have like a column and a third of tokens, so it's only going to replace very few of them.
A total of 8 tokens.
There's 146 backers of the Invasion Pledge. We're going to talk about replayability, but scroll down on the side, Ron. I'm curious how many people we have on this 440 pledge.
That's the retail. That's the retailers.
There was an early bird. That's why we see so little. Yeah.
Oh, what they did. Oh, okay. I have problems with early bird levels. Oh my gosh.
Why are we being punished? I just don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If you can sell it to these people for that price, why can't you sell it to me for that price?
And you know what?
So what were the savings here? 110 compared to 120 and 155 compared to 170.
Yeah.
It's funny because I agree with you. I'm not a fan of early birds. I think early birds are stupid. I think they're just punish people. Not everyone's going to find out about everything all the time. You can't expect like everyone using Kickstarter to be like us, browsing for board games on a daily or weekly basis. Even then, we still miss some stuff. We had some nice discussions about stuff that we didn't even know was coming out. Like I knew that the Umbrella Academy game was coming out, and I almost missed the start of it. It was a friend of mine that said, "Hey, it's out." Then I messaged to you guys that it was out, and you knew it was coming, but everyone was like, "What? It's already?" So people miss this. I have less of a problem with like the Incursion having an early bird than I do with the Invasion having an early bird as well. It's like, if you want to do an early bird to sort of drum up a little bit of something, that's fine. But why can't we all get the Invasion at that 155 price point? Because that makes everything just more reasonable. And then after seeing the tokens and the acrylic dice way next to it priced reasonably, it kind of just cuts deep saying like, you guys could do it, but now you're just, it feels egregious.
Yeah. With early birds, I can see like these are just very random numbers, 74 backers, 685. So that was a time limit. They only put a time limit on it. If you like say first 100 backers or first 200 backers,
right?
I have a little bit less of a problem than that. Just compared to, but it's very slight.
Yeah,
it's still a little bit less. But put it if you're willing to sell this thing at a discount, give it to a discount to a set number of people, not for a set time limit of whoever could discover your project.
Yeah,
because this thing wasn't very well advertised, like on BGG or anything like that.
Nope.
Basically, what happened is they got this into the hands of people that probably backed the original, talked to their friends about it, and then they promoted it, and then they got the advantage. At 155, I might already be backer of this, but at 170,
absolutely,
100%,
it makes a difference. It definitely does,
especially when you're going to see shipping later on, which we haven't quite gone to yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we always talk about value, and I think one of the interesting things about this game is the effort they put on replayability. So why don't we discuss that right now? The campaign.
So a little bit of there's a little bit about gameplay, that there's 3 different modes that you can play this game through. Like there is the campaign mode where they say 12 missions and 20 with the expansion. Or there's just like assault mode, which is just your one shots, just grab a scenario from any point in the campaign. You can play through it. And then there's kind of like a, like, what is this, like zombies mode, where it's like this extinction where there's just like an endless onslaught of enemies coming your way. And can you survive for like a set number of rounds and then try to get you get like a score and you try to beat your score.
Right. Yeah.
Type thing.
Yeah. Like in the assault mode, they give you upgrades for your players. This is where you should be at that mode. And in the extinction mode, you're just playing at the base. Just base defense. See how far you can get.
See how long you can hold on. Yeah.
Yeah. And then try to beat your score the next time you play.
Yeah. And then this is what Jason was mentioning earlier. Like when you start a scenario or you start your campaign or anything, like you have to select whether or not you're going to be playing like as more like Black Ops or Breach and Clear or Espionage. They have their own like set of like of equipment that you'll equip your operatives with during those times. So that would change your strategies on how you play the game, depending on what those look like.
I like that. I think that's neat that you have the 3 different game modes and then also 3 different strategies within those game modes. So I think it's cool combination. You could do all sorts of different things.
I think this is the real shining achievement of this game. Like this is the thing that I've never seen in another game of its type. Like coming off of Assassin's Creed, looking at stuff on my shelf with like Cine Tempore and some other games that I've got like coming and in the process, like I've played this game before. I mean, Julie and I covered Rogue Angels, and well, there's definitely some differences. I have this game I probably have this game on my shelf if you combine it with a bunch of different elements. But those different aspects and different strategies, like picking that's something that I don't actually have. But sneaking past guards, making rolls and things like that, like I've got that in spades already in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it's nice because you typically see that with the asymmetrical players, right? So you have all these different options, but it's set to that one specific player. Whereas here, you get to pick your player and pick your mode. So it'd be interesting if like all the players chose stealth or all the players chose something, or what combinations work for which scenario. So no, I do think that's a very neat aspect of this game.
Yeah. So I'm just all these different aspects of the game, which are really awesome. And then you can like good campaign style leveling up, get better cards, get better things. Your HQ gets a little bit better. But then here's where the replayability is, where their advertising coming in is choice-driven campaigns where there's going to be branching paths.
Yep.
In it now they don't really say how many different endings. Yeah. But they do allude to that there are different endings to the campaign, depending on paths that you do choose, and different rewards. And you can even unlock special ops missions, like side quests.
Yeah.
That you can unlock too. That will be shorter in length, but they're harder, but give you the best rewards. So kind of a little, and so you just get those side quests.
So video game-ish, like so video game-ish.
Love it.
Sounds awesome. It really does.
Yeah. Branching campaign path, different possible endings, lots of replay. So choosing different strategies, using different operatives, building your operative differently throughout that leveling up process, and then your random specialty. They say that the special ops are random. So those like side quest missions are quite random.
It sounds like you draw them, just reading it, you draw them from a deck, and then you will decide which one you go with. So I think that's a nice breakdown. Just scroll down a little bit more. I think then we get kind of an idea of like our operatives, which are very generic combat style sci-fi heroes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like this guy's ready to go. The trick shot.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any body armor or anything like that. He's just going to go in gunslinging.
Yeah, it looks very Alien and Blade Runner style characters here.
It's funny because all their descriptions are all I'm the best. Like, yeah, they can do all their planning, they can do that, but I just believe you just need to go in one shot and you're done. And then the other person is like, yeah, okay, you can do one at a time, but I can just go in there with a grenade and blow everybody up. And so they're all saying like how awesome they are. Kind of funny, but they're more important than the other parts of the team. choose me is what that is.
So how much does it cost to get this game to Canada? I think that's really going to highlight what I think about this project overall.
So the Incursion base box pledge is 30 to 35, with the Invasion pledge going to be 35 to 40.
So that's not that bad.
No,
that we have paid more,
like 85 to 120, you know.
Yeah, we definitely have paid a lot more than that. So
but these aren't locked in. And the one thing I will say is, if anyone's paying attention to what's going on in the news, you'll be lucky if you pay these prices in May. If we're not paying these prices in May, it's because things got a lot better than they are right now.
Yeah.
So if we are paying these prices in May, it's because things got a lot better than they are. Because right now everything seems to be going the other direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gas prices.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
yeah, the highest prices in the country are right here, or in North America are right here in BC.
Oh my gosh.
Over $2 a liter.
We're at 196, so we're almost there.
We're at 209.
Unbelievable.
Come to Saskatchewan, folks. 168. 168.
Isn't it sad when you're bragging about 168 for gas? Like,
ridiculous.
But that's the world that we live in. So
it is.
I think we've done enough of a solid breakdown on the game. We've talked a little bit about some general value and excess. So what do you guys think right now? Is this a campaign with a lot of value or a lot of excess? And where's the excess, if you see any?
Now you see, I don't see excess really anywhere. The expansion.
The early bird.
Well, yeah. Okay, yeah. Don't get me started on early bird again. But
excessive abuse.
Maybe that expansion is a little on the higher end of its price point, but with everything's coming in here, and with what I know about like production of miniatures and everything like that, I don't think it's excessive.
No,
and if it is excessive, it's not by much.
That's the thing. It might be leaning towards excessive, but I wouldn't label this as one of our typical horrible excessive games or campaigns. I think this one's kind of in the middle, but yeah, exactly.
Because usually when we label excess, it's in the add-on section.
And this is one of the more reasonable.
We said these are reasonably priced. Like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, $12 for dice, $15 for those upgrades. Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember all the prices. But let's say, amen. Are we the base pledge for that one? That was under 100, was it not?
100, I think it was 100 or 109.
Okay, so it was right around there. So right there, their base pledge is lower. They do have, okay, now I'm going to have this expansion, which is, like $50, $40, $50, $40. They have those. And a lot of the ones where we're saying, we're spending a lot of money on, it's because there are like 5 or 6 different expansions we're getting with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. This does seem a bit high to me.
I don't know.
At the same time, this one has just enough content, I think, because how many times, like we're all on that like zombicide thing. How many times am I going to get through all of that content?
right?
In a realistic world, am I going to get through all that content?
And I think
it's Marvel, so maybe you will, because you just want to play all those characters.
I think with the replayability here, yes, they've got something really good. And I think what is where I just, if they were priced at even that invasion, if that was priced at 155 instead of at the 170, I don't think I would have the same kind of thoughts. It's just that little bit extra when you've got then shipping on top of it. I don't know.
But then I see a game like this versus the He-Man scenario where we were paying $110 for the base box, and then $50 here and $40 there and $50 here for expansions, but they were all skirmish, whereas this has got I'm assuming a 12-hour campaign if each campaign is level's an hour plus the expansion, making this maybe
they set up.
Okay, so either way, I feel like this brings a lot more to the table than a game like He-Man does.
I agree. I think that in terms of what you're going to get for a cooperative and fun experience, I think you're going to do better. Like if you like skirmish games, don't think get He-Man. It's good, and I do think that because of the stretch goal box and it's CMON, you're going to be getting a lot more in terms of content at that $100 price point. Now we can't hold a small publisher to CMON standards.
No,
and I think where I struggle at this is that I get it, and I would probably buy this game if I saw it at these prices in retail. I think that's where it really boils down to me, is that I don't see a lot of excess, but I'm also not seeing the value. And Ryan made a really great point about the early bird. So if we scroll back up, Ryan, let's scroll back up to see how many people have pledged since the early bird.
So we have 146 at the invasion and 16 at the incursion. So basically we have 160 backers since the early bird, which is probably 48 hours. That means you've got only 160 backers. In 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I think, Jason,
crazy.
How you phrased it, maybe that's what I was trying to articulate, but couldn't. Because it's not so much that it's excess. It's that it seemed off for whatever reason. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where it just kind of feels like it's right in the middle of the crosshairs.
And it is sour tasting, knowing that some people got this at a $15 US discount.
Yeah.
$15 US is the price of a Tiny Epic game, and Tiny Epic Dungeons just started shipping. So I don't know if someone wants to pick that up.
I just think I'd be more inclined at the 155. Like, you know what?
Well, not just you. Look how many people decided they didn't want to back it because they didn't get it for 155.
Yeah.
A lot of people that haven't backed it yet.
Yeah.
Well, it's safe to say that there's three of us right here that we do, we do spend a lot of money on board games, but you have three people right here that generally go out and aren't afraid to spend money on board games, that are kind of wishy-washy on whether or not we'll back this, right? So that says something.
But we've also been going through about a year or so of therapy on this show.
We also have a year or maybe 18 months of backlogs of game shipping. And I just got like 3 notices in the next little bit that are all coming. So when I'm thinking about this one, it's like, when am I actually going to get this played? But that being said, like what you said, Anne-Marie, we talk about excess or value, and I'm having a hard time calling excess on this, maybe a little excess in price, but I'm also have a really hard time seeing value. And I mean, that was the one thing that we could say is like, He-Man was a ton of excess, and Marvel Zombies was a ton of excess, more something you would need. But you know what? There's a lot of value to the fans as to what you are getting. Now it's a little bit in terms of IP, but I just don't see what the value is of this. It's like, so right now, like, if we scroll up, the MSRP for the invasion pledge is what?
I missed it. They were
actually.
They were different. Like,
but I saw that the incursion was $130.
Yeah. And then $185 MSRP.
Okay. So I'm going to pay $40 shipping. I'm going to get a minimum amount of stretch goals. Or I can get this whole thing for $185.
Right.
How much are those stretch goals actually worth?
Yeah.
That's the question.
And I think that's where this game struggles. I think that's why this game hasn't cleared to
it is struggling. Yeah, it is struggling. It is not gaining momentum. How many days does this thing have left? This thing had
14?
14-ish days.
Still 2 weeks, yeah.
And yet I've not really heard anybody talking about it. I don't know what this has that's going to, like what Jason was saying too, what's going to make it stand above those other things that already live out there. I do like the stealth. I do like the stealth things.
I do. Yep.
I don't have a game like that where you want to be sneaking. You don't want to be going on guns blazing. You got to be the sneaky Pete's of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. If this was slightly on the cheap, like $15, $20, $25 cheaper, I would be probably getting in on it right now. But I don't know.
I do like the story. I like the idea of the game. I think the game sounds great. But yeah. Yeah,
I love the gameplay looks fun. The campaign does sound fun. I'm struggling to see. I'm just super on the fence with this. This is one of the ones I'm more on the fence of than anything we've done in a while, where I'm just very struggling to see the excess and struggling to see the value.
And I think this is one of the things that is going to probably start affecting crowdfunding in a big way. Is typically like you looked at the kind of game that you were getting, and it's either something that it wouldn't exist in retail fairly easily. If you were backing it, you were paying a little bit more than retail, and you were getting a bunch of extra stuff. And this feels like you're paying retail and you ain't getting much more than what you would get at retail. So what is the incentive to trigger that back now, take my money, hang on to it for a year, and I'll get it later? And I think that's something that companies are going to have to be very careful of, because if you lose advantage of going to crowdfunding instead of going to retail, people are just going to go back to retail. I mean, great stuff you can find. I just saw a post on that someone went to the local game store, and just to give an example, if we're talking sci-fi stuff, I don't know if any of you've played Defenders of the Realm or have heard of Defenders of the Realm.
No,
heard of it.
So there was a sci-fi version of it, I believe, by Ares Games, or similar to it, called Galaxy Defenders, co-op big sci-fi game where you're defending stuff. And actually, it might be closer. I thought it was actually Defenders of the Realm. It might be similar to Sword and Sorcery. And, that game didn't sell great, but it's still been highly rated. Like, someone just found it 40% off. Like, why should I go with this when I can find something in retail potentially on discount that's similar, or something that's coming out soon? Or when I give them this, and I got to hope that it was 1,083 backers, although for some reason I don't think we counted 1,083 there, but whatever. I guess that's all the people.
Well, that's actually a good point, because how many people are still in my mindset that I'm not giving Kickstarter any money, and I'm just going into the backer kits and the pledge managers.
Yeah, so there's probably a few there, but it's still not a huge.
It's not a huge amount. What we got? 16, 146, 29.
Yeah, 135.
And then,
that were at that specific $1 pledge. So there's maybe some people that pledge other amounts that aren't in there. So if we take a look, like there's maybe 60, 70 backers that are accounted for, but how many of them are like you, Ryan? How many of them just haven't made up their mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this is really careful. Like, this game feels like I should be buying it at retail today and not paying my money and waiting for it for a year. I don't think I'm getting enough value. Actually, I think that's what I can say. I don't see the value to trigger me to buy and wait a year and hope that this game is going to get produced properly and not be delayed for another year.
Yeah. And to pay probably much worse shipping than they're advertising.
Yeah, because this was a conversation too that we had just before we went recording and everything. Like Dark Horizon Games here is relatively like probably brand new company because I haven't heard of them yet, and this is their only crowdfunded project. So
yeah,
it's tough. Like we were saying, it's tough for these small companies.
It is.
It's tough for these smaller companies to come and make a big splash in pretty much an ocean of a market that's already been flooded with these style of games.
Yeah.
And I want to buy this. I want to play this. I'm just I have on the way. I don't know when I'm going to play it. I still have to beat like all of Cine Temporian. I've got plenty of campaigns left there. And are they going to pull this off, though? Because they've got two created, and the first one created was the canceled version of this game. So how easily is this going to go into production? And it's not to try to critique them. I'm hoping that I wish them all the best. Hopefully one of those 8 retail stores is somewhere in Canada so I can go pick it up.
I might check with our local shop here and see if he's thinking of bringing in any copies of this, and then maybe go from there. We'll see.
But yeah, I'm more likely to do something like that is go through retail and have just a little bit extra protection for myself rather than just pledge my money through Kickstarter.
Yeah, no, it looks cool. I agree with you. I'd buy it off the shelf today. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, 100%. This is a style of game. Like I said, I don't know if I have any like co-op style dungeon crawlers kicking around here already, but I love the theme. I love the story about this. I should be very juiced up right now. I am actually kind of frothing on it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know I don't know if I'm pulling the trigger at this moment. Like I'll probably end up being a $1 person.
Yeah.
And then if they have my Tim Hortons coffee, that's okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm at the $1 level. I mean, this is a good segue to where we're pledged. Like I'm pledged for $1. I'm going to ride this out longer. I'm going to see where they go with it. I'm going to wait till the absolute end of the pledge manager to make my decision. Kind of like I did with the Isofarian Guard when they announced that it was starting to ship and hit the boats. I dragged that one out, and it, like looking back on it, I saw it was a great 2-player co-op with a great price. I jumped in on it. Could be the same thing with this one. It's just right now it's just no call to action. Like,
yeah, I agree. I think I can speak for both of us. That's basically what we're going to do here too, is get in on the $1 here and ride out the next couple of weeks and see how this unfolds.
Because I agree. I am like Ryan. I am very interested in this game. It's those unique little parts to it do seem very intriguing, but wait and see if anything else comes out on it.
Yeah,
in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, the game looks good for sure, but just not 100% sure what we'll do with it.
And it's one of those games. It's got a lot of little things going on. I love that. Where it's like, oh, this token triggers this action, and I've got a card that can react to that and everything. Oh, the gameplay's got me sold.
Yeah, it looks great. It does.
But everything else that we talked about brings me back to reality.
I mean, we talked about it earlier. You're still waiting on Trudvang Legends, and that's Simon. Onimaru, a game that I got burned on, actually looks like it might finally deliver after 2.5 years of falsehoods being told. We've got Grimlord Games with Village Attacks and the Everring. Beautifully produced games, but man, when I backed that expansion for Village Attacks, I thought I would have been playing it a year ago. There's a reason why I canceled my pledge and got out of it. And these are companies that are more established and had a lot of issues. And that's just something that I think there's more and more backers that are having issues or experiencing really bad delays in Kickstarter games. And I think that's going to really affect just how people back and where their money goes going forward.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've talked enough about this game. So we're going to end the conversation, and maybe you'll see us do a follow-up on it if all of a sudden we're having a conversation and all three of us say, hey, guess what? We bought it. Then clearly we'll have to discuss why that happened. But I'll let my special guests here say goodbye and do their, well, I'll tell you where to find them. You should know already if you're a fan of the show, because they're good people. Watch all their stuff, listen to all their stuff, support them.
So I've been Rob and
Anna Marie,
and we are the Meeple Dungeon out here in Kelowna, BC. You can find us on Twitter, YouTube, and our own podcast on all the major podcasting sites.
And I'm Ryan from the Bridge City Board Gamers community here in Saskatoon. And make sure you follow me at Mista Rau 643. It's right. Oh, almost got it right there. Right there on Twitter for all my gaming adventures. Right now I'm going through Marvelous March and I'm playing through Marvel United. Pretty much I'm trying to get through all of the heroes and all of the villains and all of the different things right now. You can follow my adventure on Twitter.
You should.
Awesome. Everyone knows me. I'm Jason, Dice and Dragons. Just want to thank everyone for watching and coming back to Kickstarter Excess or Value. And just want to remind you to, of course, like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when our next video is released. Also, down below in the video descriptions, a link to multizone.ca, a great Canadian game store. They do support Kickstarters. So if you're looking for a Kickstarter game, get in touch with them. Dylan over there is an awesome guy. So click that link. You also get 10% off your next purchase. It's a great way to support this channel as a portion of that purchase is returned to us. And then popping up in front of us are going to be links to some of our previously released Kickstarter Excess or Value videos. I think everyone was discussing Marvel Zombies. We talked about it a little bit. We're going to have that one pop up. And then a link that'll take you back to our most recent video. And now we're going to remind everyone to keep playing games.